Hey folks, this is Josh, Stoney Ridge Farmer. Welcome to another video in our video series in conjunction with Meyer Hatchery on raising chickens. Welcome to the farm vlog today. So today we're going to talk about the baby birds. They've been out here in the mobile coop for a week. They're approximately 3 weeks old now. They'll be 4 weeks old next week. They are growing like crazy. So we're going to show you our mobile coop. We're going to talk a little bit about the mobile coop that we're going to build, and we'll just talk a little bit about what you can expect with your baby birds on week number 3 with meat birds. These are Cornish cross little meat birds. All right, so let's go have some fun here on the farm vlog. Woo! So this morning I wanted to speak to you a little bit about feeding and the appetites of these birds and how much food you can expect to feed these birds per day. We're at a point now where we're not feeding them constantly, okay? So we're feeding them 12 hours on and 12 hours off. It just so happens that we start feeding them in the morning, the sun goes down, we don't feed them all night long. So what we do with these birds is we're gonna move them today in our little mobile coop, and I'll show you how we move them. Food consumption wise, they're probably consuming somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 pounds of food per day at this point. Now, 50 birds, 5 pounds of food. If you had 25 birds, probably 2.5 pounds of food per day. They're producing at least 4 pounds of manure on the yard here. And I have them right here in front of my house just to show you that if you do this right, you're not gonna have smells, you're not gonna have a bunch of flies. You don't see flies buzzing around my face. If you do this right, your birds get a little bit of grass, they get a little bit of roughage from the soil, they get to move around a lot more than they would if they were confined in a coop or a brooder. So that's why we have them, we're moving them around the yard. This is a great option. Now we'll be building a PVC, all PVC mobile coop that'll be so light you can just grab it with one hand and pull it around, and want to eliminate with that PVC coop some of the problems that you have when we move these birds. And I'll talk to you about that as we move them here, okay? So you're about to see one of the major challenges that you're faced with when you have this Salatin style mobile coop here. And basically it's a little mobile coop and we just drag it throughout the yard. When we get done moving them, I'll show you the areas, the little paddocks or squares where the birds have been for the last few days. Basically the way we move this, it has skis on the back of it mounted, and we'll just grab this little rope. Get off of my GoPro, you little turds. So we'll grab this rope and we'll just give it a tug, okay? And it's pretty easy to move, just give it a little tug. But the worst problem you have with these mobile coops is that the birds will get hung up on this back row. So the coop tends to catch them. And what we do to solve that problem is we take advantage of the bird's voracious appetite, and we'll set the feeder in and we'll move it about this far or this far, and then we'll move the feeder. And that way all the birds are up on this upper end as we move to a new spot of grass. Here's our feeder. And they go nuts for that food. So basically every bird is over here tearing that food up. We can move it on a little bit. Then we'll move our feeder. And then we'll move our coop. The hope when we build our PVC coop is that it'll be ultra light and that will eliminate this problem of squishing birds. When I first did this, we actually killed some birds. Well, one bird. We actually caught him up in there and his feet got caught, and he was so tiny it just killed him, and it was so sad. It's just no excuse for that. So you've got to be smart, you've got to pay attention to what you're doing, and this seems to be the best method to get this job done. Now basically this is a 5-gallon water pail. These 50 or so birds have been drinking this entire water pail per day. Now the temperatures have been in the low 90s here, and they're actually going to get up to like 95 today. So we're going to fill this waterer and another small waterer. One thing you need to know is if you're on an incline, if you're moving birds like this, always keep this little spout down the hill. So if it's facing down the hill ever so slightly, and sometimes we just hang it up in here, but it's so heavy it won't stay right now. If it's facing down the hill, that causes the water to stop. If it's facing up the hill, it'll just keep running and run all the way out. So if you've got to go to work and you fill this up in the morning and you come back, your birds might be dead because of a dumb mistake that you've made. So pay attention to that. So let's show you right now what the areas look like that the birds have been on for the last few days. And we'll just kind of walk through and I'll talk you through it. So this is day 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, 4 and 5, 6 and 7. Now, we'll have to move these guys in 2 days, and they're on fresh grass and they just love it. They absolutely love it. This is what you can expect, the progression of grass. So you can see out here closer to the truck over there, it looks healed. What this is doing is just adding biologic material to my lawn right here. And it's great. Now folks, before we go, there's one more thing I'd like to talk to you about and I'd like to address. There are literally thousands of farm channels out there that are talking to you about chickens and their experiences of raising chickens. The biggest take-home message I can give you is take things with a grain of salt here, okay? A lot of these folks are experiencing losses with their birds, illness with their birds, they're experiencing troubles with their birds. There's always some sort of drama going on with their baby birds. There's no drama here. There's just birds that we care for. So you've got to use common sense. Keep the birds in a clean environment. Keep them in a safe environment where predators cannot access the coop. When you're building a chicken coop, you're not building a chicken coop to keep the chickens in. You're building a chicken coop to keep things out that can harm them. It's your responsibility to take care of these birds. It's your responsibility to do the right thing. Use common sense and think like a predator. As you're moving these birds, as you're taking care of these birds, think like a predator and think like a chicken. You got to think like a chicken and put them on fresh grass. Don't leave them in a big pile of manure. Keep it clean, keep it neat. Don't let them get too overcrowded, and take care of your birds. Don't let them get too hot and don't let them get too cold. Use common sense. They're just like babies. So folks, I hope you learned a little bit about raising chickens today on the farm vlog. There's lots of cool stuff to come here, so be sure and subscribe. Click the little bell down there. It'll notify you when I post a new video, and pound that like button. Down below there'll be a link in the video description to Meyer Hatchery. It's a custom link from Stoney Ridge Farmer. So click that link and go to Meyer Hatchery and check them out. All right, thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you next time on Stoney Ridge Farm. I appreciate you, and I hope you learned a little bit. All right? Woo! Well, come on down to the Stoney Ridge. Bring your wife and bring your kids. We're living life pure and sweet.